Today is day 3 in our series explaining Styrk's core values. So far, we've talked about the importance of multiple perspectives and creating a constructive environment. Today, Styrk founder Scott Rasmussen and I discussed the value of optimism in a news organization. Take a look.
Kirsten, it all has to do with perspective. And years ago, my wife and I took our then young boys to do a church service day down in North Carolina. Our task was to sort this 18-wheeler's full load of sweet potatoes, yams, and we were to sort things out so that people could have food to eat, people who needed it, and we were also to throw out the stuff that was not edible. And as we sat there and looked back at the 18-wheeler and saw how full it was, no matter how long we worked, we didn't make a dent. It was pretty depressing. But if we turned the other way and we looked to see the food that we were making available to somebody, it was a real encouraging response. And so pretty quickly, everybody in our work team began facing the way that let us be optimistic. We looked at that pile of food that we were creating. We looked at the good that we were doing. And that's the way I take a view of our political process these days. I recognize that if you look to Washington, if you look to traditional politics, very easy to get depressed, very easy to be pessimistic. However, if you look to the communities where people are doing really good things, they're helping each other, they're working together, that's a great sign. And what makes it all work is that I know from my reading of history that change always starts in the culture. Politicians lag behind. So I look to the public, to communities, and I'm very optimistic.
So talk about some specific ways that Styrk is promoting optimism in the community.
Well, we're going to show the way that people work together to help others. We're going to show the fact, we're going to highlight community heroes on a regular basis. We're going to give them some recognition. But as we do that, we're hoping to inspire others to do the same. You know, there was a great story of this guy in Texas who found out that kids at the school where he worked weren't getting hot meals and their parents were behind on payments. So rather than start a petition drive or do anything else, this guy just walked in, wrote a $465 check, brought all their accounts current so the kids could have hot meals. And by the way, he said it was the best money he ever spent. We want to tell stories like that so that other people will follow them.
What about the social element? There is a very social element to Styrk.com. That's what we want to do with the web platform. How can people contribute on their own to this optimistic culture that we want to help invigorate?
Well, this is all about sharing your ideas and sharing the ways that you have helped people. And as you come to Styrk, you will be able to write about it. You'll be able to read about how others, and you'll be able to talk about maybe some ways that we can work together and learn from each other. So maybe, Kirsten, you post something and somebody else says, Kirsten, I'm not sure that was a really great use of your time. And as long as they do it in a constructive way, we all get a little better. But social media technology is giving us new ways of finding things we can do together. And as long as we're all focused on helping others, that's the key. It's not a question of should this be done by the private sector or by government or by communities, or it's an all hands on board approach. We have a lot of problems that need to be solved. We need to recognize that. We need to be optimistic that they can be solved, and the way we're going to do it is by tapping into people's good instincts.
Tomorrow we'll be back with more in our Core Values series as Scott tells us what empowerment is really all about. The NFL comes under scrutiny after a player was penalized for praying on the field. Hear the full story when we come back. And later, hear Gwen Stefani talk about the chemistry between co-hosts on The Voice. We'll be right back.